This video is about applying EPDM membrane to an RV trailer roof. I did this on my trailer. You can see leftovers hanging down there. Trim strip, corner trim is up on the back half. I'm not quite done up front yet. There's one more piece to go on, but I'm going to use that opportunity to show how to finish the corner trim and membrane off. But first of all, I'd like to show how to apply the membrane to the trailer, and I've got a leftover piece here that I'm going to use to demonstrate that. Now I am using this Dicor installation kit that came with the membrane I bought, and it's a fairly expensive kit. I believe you can get away with a little bit cheaper if you buy the parts individually. All the kit has is about 4 rolls of butyl tape, and I used up 4 or 5 rolls. Actually, I used up 2. I just realized that there are actually 5 rolls of that stuff in there. And then 2 1-gallon pails of adhesive, and then a pack of lap sealer. It's a 6-pack of lap sealer that you're going to use around all your vents. I think a tube of this lap sealer is about $15 or $16 Canadian. I've got a quote for one of those pails of glue for about $62. And then butyl tape is actually cheap. It's about $10 a roll, so there's about $50 here. So you could save a little bit of money, I suppose. But anyway, let's get back to the installation of EPDM membrane. The kit comes with a manual that explains how to install the membrane, and what the manual asks you to do is to drape the membrane onto the trailer to essentially dry fit it, to make sure that you got enough lap over the sides, as you can see up there, and enough lap over the front and the back of the trailer, so you got enough to finish it off nicely. Then the kit asks you, or the instructions ask you to take the membrane. You know, imagine you had it all set up nicely, like this, and this is how you wanted to apply it. Then they ask you to fold the membrane in half, like that, and that exposes 1/2 of the trailer roof now. Okay? Now they ask you to apply this glue, and it's a liquid glue. You can apply it. In fact, the instructions ask you to apply it with a paint roller, a 9-inch wide paint roller. Okay, that's all easy. And the way I did it, I went about 2 feet at a time. 2 feet of glue at a time, and then the instructions ask you to pull the membrane back and set it into the glue. Now the way to set this into the glue is to use a simple push broom with some fairly stiff bristles, and that applies, you know, that just puts pressure onto the membrane and seats it into the glue. And you go on like that. You go on like that until you're all used up. There you go, that's it. But there is a little logistic problem in that. You cannot avoid to get air bubbles. And the kit or the instructions ask you to work the air bubbles out with the broom. However, That glue sets rather quickly, 15 minutes, and it is so tacky that it's very difficult to apply or to work the air bubbles out of underneath the membrane. And given that, let's say you're halfway done like that, you don't know what's going on underneath here. You got a lot of membrane sitting here, and you do not really know what is going on underneath here. Did you catch all the bubbles? Did it work? No, probably not. So I'm that part of the instructions I find not very helpful at all. And sure enough, when I was done, I realized that I had air bubbles like far back, just where I had started applying glue, and it was a little bit tricky getting those out, and it took me a while. And eventually, what I had to do is I had to pull the membrane back up from the end that I hadn't affixed yet to the substrate. It hasn't been glued down, so I worked it back up and then applied new glue and then set it again, and then I finally had the air bubbles out. Now I modified the procedure a little bit on the other half of my roof job, and what is much easier than actually folding the membrane is to roll it up. And I do not know why the manual does not say to roll it up. I don't know. So much easier, right? So you roll it up, you apply your glue, again another 2 feet at a time. Roll it back, set it into the glue, work all the bubbles out. Again, you got access to this, you can see it, right? You can see what you're doing. Another 2 feet of glue, roll it back, seat everything nicely into the glue, work the bubbles out, and you go on like that until you're done. So much easier. It is a lot faster, a lot less headache, and I'm the kind of person, I follow the manuals, I follow the instructions carefully to the point, and in this case, it just does not work as well. So don't fold it, roll it up, and then work it back into the glue. Okay, so now about finishing it off. The instructions say to finish it off the following way. So your membrane laps over top of the roof, over top of the siding like this. Now underneath here, it says to kind of sandwich the membrane in between butyl tape. So what I did is I stuck butyl tape to the top of my siding just so it covers the top edge of the siding, and then I go all the way along like that, so it all has it's one continuous strip of butyl tape in behind here. So next, you'll bring your membrane down. You can kind of stick it a little bit into the butyl tape like that. Get the adhesion started. Okay, and then you're going to take your corner trim, and I prepared butyl tape on one of the pieces of corner trim to show you how to do this. So this is the piece of corner trim, and I applied 2 strips of butyl tape to this. I started with the top piece here, and it covers the lip of the corner trim, and I kind of started pressing this into the corner just to get the adhesion started here, like that. And then I run a second full bead of or a strip of butyl tape along the lower edge of the trim. So this just gets set against the siding, or against on top of the membrane there, against the siding, and then you use screws to fasten it down, and that's it. Little trick when you in order to get this started properly, this butyl tape is really sticky, and it tends to create a little bubble in the EPDM membrane up on top of the trailer. It's not too bad, but if you want to get this started right, you kind of set this on top of the membrane, start the adhesion, and then you roll it down, and it's sort of kind of pulling it down over the edge rather than pushing it from the side. You kind of pull it down from the top, and that actually helps in preventing this little bubble of or in the membrane. Kind of, you have the membrane and you're kind of pushing it. You're kind of pushing it with the strip, with the molding like this. So the other way, you kind of pull it down and then over the edge. It's practice and experience, and then you will know exactly what I'm talking about if you do this. But anyway, so this is going to create a really nice seal. The membrane is going to be sandwiched in between butyl, and the screws will be driven through both strips of butyl tape, the one underneath the membrane and the one between the membrane and the corner trim, and you'll have a terrific watertight seal. That's what you want. Again, on this particular trailer, they had omitted the gasket tape in places altogether, and that was a total fail. Oh, by the way, what I wanted to talk about is butyl tape again. I recently learned that on the older trailers, it is not exactly butyl tape they used. It's just what they call a putty tape. And I always used those two interchangeably, but there's apparently a major difference in the type of material. The butyl tape stays flexible much longer and virtually supposed to last forever, whereas the putty tape gets dry and brittle and then obviously fails. So if you have an older trailer, it might be worthwhile, rather than caulking with silicone around all your corners, you should maybe just pull all the corners off, all the corner trim, and wherever there was putty tape, and replace that. Before you apply new tape, new butyl or whatever, make sure you clean up all the old residue, dust, and old bits of gasket tape. So like here, I'm not quite, don't have the corner trim up here yet, but you have these little flakes of gasket still on here. That should all come off. This should be clean. This, ideally this should look like this kind of siding. That way you can guarantee proper adhesion of the butyl tape onto the siding. So the way you do this, and this is a cheap solution, recognize this. This is essentially a naphtha product, and it works. It just eats old gasket tape for a living. It works so well. You just take an old rag, an old shop rag, and then soak it in this and just rub that old gasket off. The big chunks you can just take a knife or a scraper or something to get it off, and then to finish the job you just use this. It works extremely well. It is fast and it is damn reliable. So I can recommend this, and this is not expensive to buy. So I'll finish off here, and I hope this helped in explaining how to work with EPDM and corner trim a little bit. Thanks for watching.